Hello and welcome back to another reaction. In this occasion, My Hero Academia episode 20. So yeah, last time and by reading your comments, I confirmed that yes, last episode was a filler that actually never happened in the manga. But other thing I noticed from your comments was that it was at least mentioned during the manga. I don't recall exactly your words, but yes, you mentioned that this was referenced in in the manga. So yes, again, it was a filler, but it was a good filler, something that is very rare. Again, I know I sound like a broken record, but yes, going back to Naruto, Naruto has terrible filler, just boring, uninteresting filler, and it was just one after the other. This one, although it's just one episode and it's not a bad one, we got a good character growth in case of Suyu, and we have a little bit of comedy before that. But of course, the most serious or the important portion of the episode was Suyu part. So yeah, I really enjoyed that filler, but I think the principal point here is the next episode, because yes, my guess is that now we're going to really get a lot, and I mean a lot of information about the One for All, and I cannot wait to see it. So yeah, let's cut this and watch the episode, shall we? It's just Limbin? Yes, just give information, come on. Oh, the hero name! He want to hear the hero name. Okay. Yes. Listen to my tale from the past. Yes, please. I'm gonna listen. What? What? Oh! Yeah, it's back. Oh, yes. No, but you did a great. You did a lot more. Yes! Yes. What? What the hell? That? What the hell is that? Yes. Oh, that must hurt, especially for him. Oh, that hurt to say. I just know. Yeah. Dude, are you serious? Yes, I agree. Yes! Ida is back! Yes! Thank you! Ida is back! Okay, so race to, well, reach him in this case. Oh, it's a rescue. They're gonna rescue him. Yes, he's kind of right. Zero. Yeah, he has more mobility. Will be last. He's very fast, but they don't know. They don't know. Yes. Now he's at full potential. Well, 5% of his full potential. Yes. Oh yes, he knew. Oh. Oh. Yes, he's moving forward. Yes. Yes, stay at 5%. Oh, come on! Thank you for saving. Yeah. Yes. Oh. Are you serious? God damn it. buddy. Oh! Yes. Oh. Oh, come on. Okay, I like that animation. Yes, tell us, please. Yes. What? Oh, what? Oh, okay. Yes, you forgot. Okay. Okay. That is the name of the villain. I remember that. What? Okay. Okay. Seriously? Oh. Are you serious? What the hell? Oh! Oh. Yes. Oh. Oh. Yes, of course. Oh. Yes. Oh, okay, okay. The first user of the one for all. Until him. He defeated. Oh. Oh man. Yes, the parallels here. Of course he will say that. Of course he will say that. Oh, I get it now. He won't be there for you, yes. And he couldn't tell him. Yeah, that is my guess, yes. That is the problem, yes. Oh. Okay, yeah. I'm lost. I'm still not ready to process all of this. I'm gonna watch it another time, probably more than just one time, and we'll be back with my comments because I have no words, literally. So yeah, I need to compose myself. See you in a bit. What? Oh, we're going to see the villain. We're going to... Oh! This is the brains! Oh! The all for one! Oh! Oh, man! Oh, look! Oh, the state of his face! What? The next me. Oh, man! He has no eyes! Okay, yes. Okay, that was the extra scene. We have, at the beginning, a little bit of fun, but we had the revealance of the main villain, the All for One. And good lord, the face! But yeah, I'm gonna watch this again and be back with my comments. See you in a bit. Oh, this is so good. Okay, I'm back. I just watched a second time the episode, but I have to be honest. I watched the section of the episode in which they talk about the One for All and its origin several more times because I was so intrigued and I wanted to exactly know what is the deal there and to have a better understanding of, well, all everything that was said that was important. Because yes, the section that talk about the One for All is like 5 or 6 minutes around that time, perhaps even less. And the rest of the episode, I think it feels more like the suspense, building up the suspense to that epic moment. But yes, I'm going ahead of myself, so yeah, let's start from the beginning. Yeah, we start with the ending of the internship. The ending of the internship, of course, about with Deku and Gran Torino. They discussed, of course, how Gran Torino helped Deku to achieve his goal, to at least gain a little bit more of control of the One for All. He gained control, even if it's just 5% of said power. It's still a lot better than what he was doing. The punch of 100% of power that just perhaps destroy a lot of stuff, but if you miss that punch, you are done. And even Gran Torino said that it's better for you not to have all the power, but you can use it and change your pacing, change your battle stance, change a lot of stuff. And you can recover yourself, and it will help you to run away or to avoid obstacles or to avoid punches. And in general, give a better fight. That is the point of Gran Torino, which is completely accurate. Yes, you might have this overwhelming strength, but if you don't know how to use it, you are not going to be able to, well, use it for good. Use it in a useful way. I know it sounds redundant, but I think I said this before. Even if you have the most amazing quirk, if you cannot control it, you will become another victim. And you will just be a burden, as Aizawa said. So yes, I understand that portion. And that's the principal point in which Aizawa is right, is correct. So yes, this first portion was to focus in the new mentality of Deku. And yes, to scold Deku because yeah, what he did was very imprudent, was very was not correct because the hero killer was way out of his league, and even not just the hero killer, the Nomos were way out of Deku's league. So yeah, that's why is well, according to the undubbing, he's nagging Deku. Gran Torino is nagging Deku. But he sees something in him. He sees something from Toshinori, in this case, All Might, in Deku. He sees this, this sense of justice, this heroism in Deku. And I love that part in which, who are you? Again, in the silly voice, the Gran Torino's silly voice. He said, who are you? I said, oh, I'm Midoriya. But then he realized he didn't mean your name. He means your hero name. In this case, Deku. And I love that realization in Deku's eyes. And I love everything that was inside of that little scene. It is just unbelievably strong. When you focus and you watch, as many times I watch all this, you tend to focus on that silly stuff that happens to be more important than what you thought it was at the beginning. So yes, I love that part in which now Gran Torino recognizes Deku as a hero. Not just a student, not just some intern that will just go away in a week. No, he recognized him as a hero. for several portions, because yes, Deku has the self-sacrifice, has of course that mentality of, I don't care, I need to intervene because that is what a hero do. And I guess that's why Gran Torino recognized him as a hero, which I love. Then, of course, the next portion was a little bit of comedy on Bakugo's behalf, let's say. I love how now his hair is just completely just down, because he got so used to that, I don't know, gel or cement that freaking Best Jean is using on his hair, that he just, well, stay down. And everybody's making fun of him. With, of course, he deserved that mockery, because come on, that looks ridiculous on him. And he looks pissed every time he used that, well, I don't know, that hair doesn't goes with him. But anyway, and they are making fun, but of course that makes him angry, and that's enough to return the hair in its original state. But of course the mockery continues. And we have a little bit of a discussion of different internships. And I guess this is the portion they mentioned. I guess this chapter was in the manga, and I guess that thing that Suyu-chan mentioned was what's well, originally shown in the manga. That is my guess. And that small talk, I don't know, well, like 3 sentences perhaps, and that originate mostly of the last episode. Which is something great, because with so little you can create so much, which is something commendable for the writers of the show. The writers of the animation are incredible, just for that portion. But yes, everybody was impressed because Jiro fought, well, not fought, Jiro took part in the rescue of some hostages, and Tsuyu took part in the capture of several smugglers. So yeah, Mina, I don't remember she did much. I think Denki mentioned that he was just pampered and treated like a child because, well, I guess his internship was boring. That's why they didn't show us. And yeah, they didn't learn a lot. And of course, we hear of Mineta that was just so scared of Mountain Lady. Because yes, that's what he deserved. He got what he deserved. So yes, that is so great to see him scared of women, at least for a while. I thought it was going to be different, but of course later on changed back. But anyway, another one that caught my attention, of course, was Uraraka's stance. Because how the hell do you call that other than a stance? She was just so full. I don't know. I don't think it was anger. It was just this energy, this control energy that she now learns everything from combat, and she's ready to fight and to win in that fight. I love that face, and everybody was just so impressed. The way she looked, because yes, that is impressive to say the least. Yeah, this is again a portion of funny stuff. But of course, they recognize the hard part of the internship went to, of course, Ida, Todoroki, and Deku. They don't know the exact story, they just know what the news told. They believe that it never rescued them, and they were just, by sheer luck, were found by the hero killer. Of course, we know something else. We know that they fought against the hero killer. And I love the way the Todoroki's face looked. He was kind of calm, but still it was hard for him to say that his father rescued him. This was especially hard because he hates his father, with an excellent reason. I'm not gonna question that. And yes, it pains him to say that his father rescued him, that his father was useful, and that they were right to praise his father, because his father didn't intervene in the fight. But of course, they need to keep this secret because they will face the consequences of their actions, in which I guess they will not be permitted to be heroes after that. Even if the public claims them as heroes, they will not be permitted to be heroes because, well, of course, they violate the rules, and I guess the consequences of said violation was, well, okay, you cannot be here. You will not get your license. Yeah, that is my guess, and he has to keep the secret. Another reason I think is because nobody will believe them. I don't think they will believe. Oh yeah, sure. You three defeat the hero killer. Aha, yeah. Come on. It was easier to believe that they never defeat the hero killer. Of course, we know the truth. We know these three are incredibly powerful when they want to be. And when they coordinate their attacks and when they fight together, they are amazingly powerful. So, yes, I guess these three are very, very powerful. I don't know who are the strongest one in the class, but I bet those three are in the top five. Sorry, because of their quirks and because of their mentality, the way they train, the way they see the world. So yes, they are pretty, pretty powerful. Yeah, but again, they mentioned the hero killer and the video we saw that was very, very well creepy. The video again, I thought it was very creepy. And yes, I still think it's extremely creepy. But they mentioned said video, Denki in this case. But of course, oh come on! Don't you remember? You cannot say that he's cool, that he was a national, that he was cool because come on, he almost killed Ida's brother. And yes, they are right. He was very tactless. Denki didn't exactly thought that through. The everyone was like, "Oh, come on, just how can you say that?" But I love the attitude that Ida took. That yes, you can say that he was tenacious. Even I believe that people will think that he's cool, and why they think they are cool. I know that. I kind of see that. But that doesn't mean that he's right. He, in the core of his morals, let's say morals, he's wrong. Because you cannot treat everybody just with that black and white mentality. Of course, he didn't say that in these exact words. This is my interpretation of the scene. You cannot say that because in the end he is wrong. You cannot perk the entire hero society with that. You cannot treat people like black and white. People have a scale of grays. And that is something that you must take into account. Because not everybody is going to be self-sacrificing for everything. You cannot hold in this pedestal everybody because nobody or almost nobody will be able to reach that pedestal. And you will have to kill everybody else who doesn't fit in said box or pedestal I mentioned. So yes, I love the attitude that Ida took, that yes, you can think that you can have a different opinion and that is fine. But you must remember that the essence of his morals, the essence of this hero killer is wrong. He is still a criminal and he is still wrong. Because yes, I agree with Ida. He is wrong in so many aspects. And that's the major problem I have with the thought of the hero killer, which I said in another video, of course. That is something I really, really, really agree with Ida. And I love the transition in here because, yes, we pass from a serious moment in which, of course, Ida was affected to a silly moment in which we came back to that old Ida, to that silly Ida, but again, the strict Ida, robotic Ida. But that is something that we need because, yes, this Ida is still thinking better than the emotional Ida that we had before. And that doesn't mean that Ida will change his logic side. It doesn't mean that he's not going to be an amazing fighter or an amazing hero later on. He just means that he will have again this attitude, this relaxed attitude in which, of course, we are going to be better. Or at least I think Ida is better in said attitude. Yeah, I love this episode. I love this portion of the episode in which they make a transition from the serious portion to this silly portion. And again, this anime does that so well because you can be laughing in a moment, then thinking hard in the next one, or almost crying in another one, and going back to funny and then action. That pacing, I love how well this anime has. And then we pass to another exercise, again with All Might. They need to rescue All Might, which was in the center of this huge, well, it looks like an industrial complex, because it has, I don't know, pipes and all that stuff. So yeah, he was in the center, and the point of this exercise was to rescue All Might. Everybody, well, they put a lot of people with good mobility. The only one who was a wild card in everybody's mind was Midoriya. Because the only thing they have seen about him was this amazing power, this unbelievable strength that could destroy almost anything. But they didn't saw anything else. They didn't saw the mobility. They didn't saw other thing than the pure strength. And of course, nobody was betting on Deku, except that he will come last in Bakugo's words. Yeah, they say, oh, Zero is going to win. Oh no, I think Mina is going to win. Ojiro is going to win. So yeah, everybody was betting against Deku. Even Uraraka was saying, oh no, I think Ida is going to win. Because yeah, Ida is faster. That was the thought of everybody else. Nobody was on Deku's side. And yes, at the beginning you saw that Zero was just, oh, this is ideal for me. I have so much mobility. And yeah, it's true. His mobility is amazing. The problem is that now Deku has that mobility too. The one for all now he uses in all his body, his legs, his torso, his hands, his arms. Every single part of him is surrounded by this cowl of energy, the one for all. Even if it's just one, well, not 1%, 5% is still a lot of power. And he was just jumping from building to building because yes, now he has that ability, that mobility, that agility. And I love how everybody's, holy cow, how the hell they could just learn to do that. And yes, everybody was just impressed because yeah, that is the first time they saw him moving like that, except for Todoroki. But he didn't thought much of that because in the moment he saw that mobility was against the hero killer. And of course, the only thing was in their mind in that moment was just, I need to survive, I need to survive. We need to hold back and we need to wait for heroes, for professional heroes, for true heroes, let's say. That's what, of course, just everything was just in the back of your mind. I said, oh yes, you're right. He was moving like that during the hero killer fight. And yes, everybody was so impressed because yes, of course, the one for all is impressive because they don't know he has the one for all. They don't know that he has the same quirk that, well, All Might. And yes, I love this small moment of victory for Deku. Hell, even Bakugo was getting pissed because in his internship, he didn't learn anything. Best Genius just want to tame him. He didn't want to teach him something new. He just want to tame Bakugo. He didn't want him to improve his fighting style or his quirk, nothing. He just want to say, okay, you need to calm down because you are too crazy, and for being a hero that doesn't look so good. That was the attitude of this Genius, sorry. So yeah, he was pissed because his internship in his own mind was useless, while Deku improved in such lengths that it was unbelievable. Because yes, the amount of improvement in this week from Deku, from going to destroying his arm just because using his quirk, to destroying his fingers because he was using his quirk, to being able to use his quirk at his full potential, or at least they thought it was their full potential, it was unbelievable because now he was using it in all of his body. Which is, well, impressive in anybody's eye because yes, it's just a small amount of time in which Deku improved a ton. Yes, but of course, unfortunately, Deku needs to pay attention to his surroundings, not just to his quirk, and he fell down. And my guess he was the last one in that moment, even if they say, oh, poor Deku. But yeah, Zero won because he has best mobility, but All Might was impressed by all this development. And yes, later on, he promised a talk with Deku. All Might promised a talk with Deku. And that was the part I was the most excited to see. Because now we got information of the one for all. And I know I'm stalling like hell because I am still trying to process exactly how to say all this. And yes, I am watching my timer, and I just passed the 20-minute mark, and I haven't even talked about the one for all. Which, yes, of course, Boys, grab something because I bet this is going to take a while, a lot of time. So yeah, relax yourself and get ready for perhaps one of my longest rants, one of my longest portion of commentary. So yeah, let's just start this. Yeah, we start with the history. Well, before the history of the one for all, we start of the portion in which the transfer of the one for all, and it is explained exactly how it works. Eh, First, an extremely hilarious portion. The way that Deku's face looked in that moment says, "It is," and even the face, it was just hilarious. Unfortunately for me, during the reaction, I need to pay attention to the subtitles, so I need to cut my laughter short because I could be laughing a lot longer from that freaking image. Yes, that image is just so funny. Oh, again, I love how this show can change from comedy to seriousness and everything. But yeah, he said that yeah, it is. But he explained the way that the One for All works. That yes, the hero killer just eats some blood from Midoriya to make him paralyzed. And in that moment, Midoriya thought, "Oh God, I just transfer the One for All to the freaking hero killer." Luckily, that is not how it works. It needs to be willingly. Um, the bearer of the one for all needs to be willing to be transferring his power to somebody else. It cannot be forced. Only if you are willing to pass your power to somebody else, it's going to be passing. You can force somebody else to get the power, but you cannot be forced yourself to pass the power. Very convenient because yes, it could be very dangerous if somebody else find out that well, oh, he has one for all. Let's force him. Let's eat something from him, which is something gross when you think about it. Let's eat a hair or let's eat a finger or something like that. And now I will have the one for all, which is something great because it doesn't work like that. Yes, and of course Midori was worried, but was worried just in that moment because he never thought of that. The thought never crossed his mind before that. And of course, he was worried for a moment, but luckily, it's not the case. Yeah, again, the small comedy portion in which a girl forced the chocolates in All Might, in the young All Might, let's say. Uh, yes, all of this is, of course, a prelude of the true moment of truth, in which we are shown how the society began. At least a glimpse of that society, the superhero society, of the heroic society. Of course, we know at the beginning that not everybody else was, not the great portion of the humanity was, of course, holding a quirk. Um, Everybody else, well, most of the people didn't have a quirk, and I guess when they start to appear, of course, they were scared. We see something parallels from the X-Men. The X-Men, of course, they are scared of the mutants. In this case, of course, at the beginning, in this new society, they were scared of the quirk people. They wanted to be contained, they wanted to be exiled. Some of them even wanted to kill them, to kill everybody else who has a quirk. So yes, not everybody was happy, but of course they couldn't stop this huge amount of people that were, I guess, trying to appear or were starting to appear in this universe. And I love another portion of Midoriya's talk before I'm going to the deep. Um, he said that somebody said that if we didn't have quirks or we haven't discovered quirks, we will be having holidays in space or something like that. I don't know in which year this happens. Perhaps it's happening in a distant future, perhaps 2200, perhaps. I am not exactly sure how the timeline of this world is working. But I'm not sure if that is true. Perhaps if we are in a distant future and these 100 or 200 years are happening, of course, is not exactly what they were planning. It's not exactly what they wanted to do, or this this interstellar travel could have been happening if we didn't discover the quirks or something like that. I don't know. Perhaps if he's in a distant future, yes. But in our timeline, that is not correct. Again, this is just mere speculation. If something has been clarified in this portion of the manga, please let me know. If it's not a spoiler, please. So yes, this quirk happens. But of course, quirks start to appear more and more and more. Because yes, now we have an 80% of the population with quirks. But of course, not everybody in this world wanted to be a hero. Not everybody wanted to protect other people. They were evildoers, villains, who wanted, of course, power, money, whatever they wanted. And one in particular was extremely powerful and extremely dangerous. The All for One. This was mentioned in previous episodes. This guy is, of course, we didn't know, or at least I didn't know when they mentioned exactly the nature of his quirk. My only guess was he can transfer other quirks to people, but now I understand a little better. This guy can steal quirks, and my guess, because this wasn't mentioned in the entire episode, at least not directly mentioned it, is that he can, well, contain the quirks in his body. But he can also transfer this quirk to somebody else. And that is why he's called the One for All. I understand now better. Because yes, he can absorb and steal quirks from everybody else for himself. So he can use it for himself. And he can transfer these quirks, but only when it's useful for him. So yeah, that makes him a very, very dangerous guy, because my guess is that this guy, the All for One, is extremely intelligent, because he knows how to control the people. And of course, this is just going from what I interpret from the words that said in the episode. This guy start to control a lot of people, and I mean control, because I don't think he appreciates anybody else but himself. He just controls other people from several ways. Of course, he controls them because he transferred quirks, and now you are in my debt. I give you this quirk, this amazing quirk, but now you own me. Or I force this quirk on you, and now you are a brainless moron that will follow my commands, just like the Nomus. So yeah, those are my guesses. He can control people in several other ways. And perhaps he even has an hypnotic quirk and says, oh yeah, you're going to do whatever I want. I am not entirely sure of that, but that is how I see the stuff. And of course, this guy who has so much power, he can control everybody else, including the government. Because as a government, and if you don't have a quirk, or you don't have powerful users for quirks, you won't be able to do anything. As I said in a previous video, yeah, perhaps some of the villains can be taken down by normal guns, by human guns, by firearms, pistols, shotguns, the lot. But there are certain villains who are so powerful that my bet is that they are immune to these weapons. So yes, that is why the government, and this is something they said, they make a deal with this guy. They make a deal that, okay, let us live. Because I don't think this guy will just give anything else than, well, let us live. You can be the boss. You can be the true owner, the true master, the true government of all Japan. But let us live. Let us pretend that we are in charge. But of course, we're only going to pretend because you are the true one in command. Because they say background deals. That is my guess, that this doesn't appear in the textbooks because the government is ashamed of the deals they make with the All for One. Because my guess is the society kind of balance itself. Okay, there are crimes, but only the crimes I allow. The All for One. If this crime convinces me, okay, you can do it. Sure. And the government will do absolutely nothing because it's my command. So yes, the government is my guess. They make a deal with this guy and say, okay, let us pretend that we are in charge, but of course we're going to do anything you want. And we're not going to mention anything about you. So yeah, that is my guess why they didn't mention in the textbooks. And this guy, of course, controlled all Japan. But that is not the origin of it. That is partially the origin of the One for All. This guy has so much power that he didn't care. He was just so powerful that he believes himself invincible. And in that moment he was. But he couldn't think just so ahead or couldn't predict everything. Because yes, he was actually his own downfall. Because he forced this power into his little brother. His brother was just trying to be just. He wanted justice to prevail. He didn't want to be part of this syndicate of crime of his brother. So yes, he didn't want this. He wanted justice and he wanted all these good feelings, let's say. But his brother forced this quirk on him. Because he was quirkless, or everybody thought he was quirkless. But inside him, there was another quirk. A useless quirk. Yes, in All Might's word, a useless quirk. Because yes, technically you can pass this quirk to somebody else. But that is completely useless because that quirk is just that. You're going to have the ability to pass your own quirk to somebody else. That's the quirk. Not superpower, not fire, not nothing. Just that quirk. It is useless. But if you combine this one with the ability to stockpile power, then you have something amazing. Because yes, my guess is the brother trained himself, but he knew that he wasn't going to be able to defeat the All for One. The All for One was way too powerful. So what he did, he transferred his quirk to somebody else. Both quirks. Now the next user trained himself, but he knew again that he wasn't strong enough to defeat All for One. So he transferred the quirk. And so on and so forth. Until the 8th user of the One for All, All Might. He was now powerful enough because he accumulated the power of several people before him. And he could defeat the All for One. He even thought he was dead. And yes, All Might knew that this guy was very, very dangerous because he wanted to kill him. He wanted this All for One dead because I don't think there was a compromise in there, or there wasn't a possibility of a compromise. This guy was way too powerful to just contain him. I don't think he was able to contain him. I don't think in his mind never passed the freaking thought that the All for One could be contained. And perhaps again with the anger of, him killing the previous user of the One for All. He was angry because of this, but perhaps it was a calculated movement, a calculated move, because yes, you cannot contain this guy because he's too powerful in all aspects. He was perhaps way too intelligent to be captured. He was way too powerful to be contained, and he has too many connections in the government that will help him to get out. So yes, in my mind, I think All Might knew that the only solution, the only true solution for this problem was to kill the All for One. And he actually went for the killing blow, because in this little image we saw, in the white background, we saw only two figures. All Might in kneeling stance with his arm crossed, and the All for One in the ground, dead. What we thought he was dead. But of course we know better. And in this image again, I don't see a head. I just saw a body. I never saw a head. So yes, All Might went for the killing blow. And the reasons are those which I stated before, which is, when you think about it, quite the best option for this society to be free from this guy. That is probably the only option that All Might saw. And this kind of confirms my theory, because later on we saw only, well, a huge scar that going from here up. He didn't have any hair, he didn't have any eyes. So yeah, perhaps it's true, All Might blew his head, because it was the only possibility he saw for the society to grow again, to be free again. And yes, this happened in a very short period of time, because Gran Torino lived. This is just perhaps one generation or two with this one that are free from this villain. Even it was a prestigious hero school, I don't think they have that much freedom. Because yes, we know that All Might went to the same school that Midoriya is going right now. But I don't think that school, their true goal was to defeat this huge villain. Perhaps they didn't even know about his existence. So yes, all of this is creating something greater, because now I can see a lot of stuff thanks to the context. Or at least I can deduce a lot of stuff thanks to context. So yes, this school existed before. They tried to train heroes, but of course these heroes will not be able to defeat the All for One until All Might appear. And the way he thought it was the best way of dealing with this hero is, I guess, breaking every rule in the book. Because I don't think in the book say, oh yes, you can kill a villain. No. I think the priority of the heroes is to capture all the villains. But All Might knew he cannot do that, for all the reasons I mentioned before. So yes, we enter in a state, I don't know how, or I don't know what happened after that. But I can see a reason as to why the crime went down so quickly. Because All Might just took the head of this crime syndicate, of this parallel government of Japan, and destroy it. And now every villain was trying to gain power, but of course they couldn't fight against All Might, because All Might defeated the most powerful villain of them all. And he was strong enough to defeat the rest of the goons. And the heroes that were going after that were able to withstand all the goons, because now they don't have the government pressure to just, no, don't attack these guys because they are on the All for One side. Or you cannot take this villain, because that is my guess, that's why all these people could not take down the society, or could not take this criminal society. And this is just fascinating, the way that everything is explained after that. The things that we saw in the past are explained thanks to this episode, because yes, now we saw this decrease, and it makes a lot more sense, because yes, All Might was the principal reason as to why this was down, because he took down the major problem for the rest, and now the hero could act against every single villain. There were no restrictions now, and the government official, if they wanted to be corrupt or not, they didn't have any option, because yes, we cannot defeat this guy, this defeat our boss. If we don't have powers, how the hell we're going to beat it? Just get on his side. Or perhaps there was, oh yes, we're finally free, and we're not just attached to this huge villain, and we can now act the way we should have been acting. So yeah, those are two possibilities as to why the crime, well, went down that fast. And yeah, this is the origin of the One for All, and I love that moment. Of course, they thought it was dead, but it wasn't. Thanks to the Nomus, we now figured it out, or they figured it out, that this guy was still alive. That he was still alive, and probably behind the League of Villains. Because every movement that the League of Villains have, even if it didn't come out exactly as they want, they always benefit the League of Villains. The hero killer, the attack of the school, everything seems to be in the benefit of them. In the growth of this villain league. And not exactly as they wanted, because of course the mastermind behind it, the All for One, said, okay, maybe we didn't predict that the hero killer was going to be captured. But still, it worked in our benefit, because now we will get more people to join our cause. And yes, the guy is incredibly smart, because that's what I said, he is smart, because of the reasons of the strategy that takes, that even if your plan has faults, you still need, or you still having control of the, well, of the whole set piece. Yes, you can lose a few pieces in chess, but you know, if you know what you are doing, you're going to win at the end. So yeah, this guy is a mastermind. And Shigaraki is just a puppet. But more than a puppet that we see later on. Yes, we saw this and we saw, you need to fight this villain. All Might said this to Deku, you will need to find this villain. And fight him. And of course, Deku is not going to be hesitating. Because that is what he is. He is a hero. He wants to help people. And of course, defeating this guy is the way he will help people. But that's, again, the change of tone. In this heroic moment, we saw now the other problem. That All Might doesn't think that he's going to survive to see all of this. He doesn't think he's going to live long enough to see Deku become this new symbol of peace, this new hero who defeats the All for One. He doesn't think he's going to live. But he cannot tell this to Deku because, yes, he said, as long as you are by my side, I will do anything to defeat this villain. But he doesn't have the courage to tell him that probably he's not going to be around that moment. And that is a heartbreaking moment. That yes, you need to address that to Deku. Perhaps you can postpone this, but not for long. Because Deku needs to know the truth. Deku needs to be the most prepared for every situation. And that includes the moment in which All Might doesn't exist anymore. Of course, this was the end of the episode. This amount of information. And then we saw the extra scenes. The first extra scene is again a silly scene. Everybody is going to go camping as long as they pass this exam. This final exam. And everybody was just so happy because, oh yes, we're going to be camping. We're going to have, I don't know, activities, slumber parties, courage test, baths, open baths, according to Mineta. And of course, the most serious one is saying, okay, perhaps we're going to be ready in different situations, in different places. And of course, this is going to help us in our training. But of course, the rest was just, oh, fun, fun, fun. So yes, everything seems to be fine. Again, Aizawa said, of course, but you need to pass the test. And then we are shown the last extra scene. We are shown the villain. We are shown the All for One. And that's, of course, when I discovered the huge scar in all of his head. He is still alive, and he is planning for the future. He's planning to transfer his power to somebody else. In this case, Shigaraki. Because he said he's going to become the new me. So my guess is, again, he is like All Might. He is like All Might. He is going to transfer his power to somebody new. But somebody he is just as twisted as he is. He wants to perpetuate these villainous ways. He doesn't want a fair society. He just wants the control for the criminals. And that's why he believes that Shigaraki is the best. He's immature, but he has this twisted mentality that will make him the greatest villain. Because he has a pretty cool quirk. Shigaraki has a cool quirk. But now imagine him with this all-for-one quirk, this overwhelming power. He's going to become so dangerous. I cannot wait. Yes, I know it sounds twisted, but I cannot wait for this. And something else I need to mention, yes. I love how they said how he was able to live for that long, because apparently he was, I don't know if he was from the beginning of the era when the quirks started appearing, until All Might happened. That's a lot of years. So they said, of course, perhaps he stole somebody's immortality, the ability to, well, stop the decay of the body. So yeah, he became immortal. This makes such a huge villain, such a marvelous villain. And again, the variety in villains in this show. We have the mastermind in All for One. We have the crazy one in Shigaraki. And we have this guy who believes he's doing right, but he's not, in the Hero Killer. All of these makes a great episode. And yes, I know I talked for almost an hour. And just me talking for an hour about this episode. I think it was like 20 minutes or 30 minutes only for the last 5 or 6 minutes of the episode. So yes, I think I exhausted the topic for this reaction, for this commentary, because there was a lot to talk. And yes, I think I analyzed everything. I don't think I missed anything. I hope I didn't miss anything. Because yes, this was one episode I was waiting like crazy. Because once they said you need to tell him the true meaning or the true origin of the One for All, I was waiting like crazy for this episode. And yes, it was... there was a lot of information. I wanted more. I don't know what else I wanted, but I wanted more, because I always want more. But this is incredibly, incredibly well done. I don't know how well of a reaction is going to be, because yes, it's going to be mostly me just watching the freaking screen, trying to analyze every single bit they said. But yeah, I'm gonna try to process this tomorrow. I'm going to edit it right now. But yes, this is a fascinating episode, which is something I love. But yeah, I exhausted the topic. The only thing I have to say is, guys, thank you so much for your support, for your comments, for your views, for your likes, for your subscriptions. If you want to be a subscriber, please do. Just click on the subscription button and on the bell to get notifications. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, I have a Twitter account for this channel. It's in the description below. The link is in the description below. So yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this long, perhaps the longest video I have ever done. So yeah, I hope you enjoy it, and well, see you in the next one. Bye.